As the leader of the Booner Pack, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the f*** up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juices pumping, boys.
Welcome to Crunch Time Sports with Jeff Booner and Lukas. It is Tuesday, April 15th. And we are back with another great show. We got Scott Bischoff joining, one of the brightest minds when it comes to the NFL draft. He'll join us in about 10 minutes. We got Boone's full first-round mock.
There we go.
We have a free agent that a very big network suggested is the best fit for the Lions. And we'll get to all that. And we have, of course, Crunch Time Trivia Tuesdays.
Come on.
So we have Klotz.
What's the topic today?
College football.
Oh, okay. I like that. I like
this
that.
year and that. Nothing like throwing like I'd say 2010 and on. So nothing
Question.
like
Okay, so it's in our ballpark.
Question number one. How big of a bad did Nico fumble at Tennessee? Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, I mean that's a whole nother thing, man. It's my guy, but whoever's giving him business advice, probably I think it might be his father. And I'm all for fathers helping out. I get it. But that was a tough move. Someone needs to teach this dude business. That was terrible. I think the only thing he's getting offered is $1 million, and he was set to make $2 million. He wanted $4 million, and all these other schools want to pay him $1 million.
It's crazy.
So,
it's crazy, and I'm not saying that he's a bad football player, but it's crazy that he's requesting that. And again, it's not just on him. But after watching what Tennessee and Ohio State, like that opening round of the playoff game where he was just honestly bad. Like I understand Tennessee didn't show up.
No, he was bad. He was bad.
Why would you pay him $4 million? Why would you pay him more? Like I understand good quarterback, but we've seen Tennessee over the last couple of years. They've had good quarterback play. So
it's crazy.
Trying to do too much.
Carson Beck got $4 million, I think. Right?
That's great. At Miami?
What would he get? A couple million? I don't know the exact number. I have to double check that actually.
Can you guys hear me, by the way? Am I lagging?
No, you sound fine.
I'm a little quiet. I'm not gonna lie, Boone.
Let me turn it. And no one's ever told me that, so I appreciate that, Clancy.
That or muted.
Did you guys see the Shedeur Sanders thing? They're retiring Shedeur Sanders jersey. That's the most. I'm sorry, Jeff. You have to admit that's the most ridiculous thing of all time. Travis Hunter won the Heisman, so he can get a jersey. I think that's the fairest one. Is Travis Hunter's jersey retirement?
Yeah,
Shedeur, he was 13-12 as their quarterback there. Whether he had records or not, like, buddy, come on now.
I agree. Like, I think it's special that they won. They won 9 games. I think they've only won 9 or more like twice in the last like 2 decades. So they did it. It was a big accomplishment. But I'm with you. Like, to me, and I love Prime. I defend him probably a little too much. But there is a little sprinkle of nepotism there for sure.
That's crazy,
too. Jersey retired. It's like Travis Hunter, to your point, I agree. Heisman winner, all that stuff. But Shedeur, as great as he is, I don't know. I don't know what warranted that. I don't.
If he had a good NFL career, like if he ends up being fine in the NFL and winning a Super Bowl or something,
go back.
But you can't just do it like a couple months after losing in the like Alamo Bowl or something.
Alamo Bowl.
It's tough.
I don't know. By the way, too, can I throw something out there? We're not going to say the name because this is going to be a surprise the next few months. I just want to say, boys, things are happening for Crunch Time.
Come on.
The conversation that was had today, Jeff, you were on the call. Some big names know about Crunch Time in the NFL world. Some very big names. And when I heard that, my heart started pounding a little bit. And I went, oh, boys, here we go. We've got an announcement in the next few months. And I'm like, I want to announce it tomorrow. The chef's in the kitchen now.
Yeah. So. And hey, the people have been backing us, man. I mean, we're almost at 13.1. So
crazy.
Without you guys, none of this would be possible. I mean, I'm excited. I really am. And again, brick by brick, boys. And next week we have the draft, which our official draft show will be at DraftKings Sports and Social in Troy. So the fellows will be there.
People can come.
Yeah. I mean, anyone can come. It's not, there's no like ticket, I mean, we're not charging anybody. You just come on in. It'd probably be busy. So call ahead, whatever, figure out how you're going to get in there. But once you're in there, you come hang out with the fellas, man. Watch the draft. If you're, a fair distance from Troy or you feel like traveling up for the draft, come on in and hang out, man. It'll be a really good time. All the boys will be there. We'll be streaming from start of draft to end of draft, reactions. It'll be a lot of fun, man. It'll be a good time.
I'm pumped up for that.
DraftKings Sports and Social in Troy. That's where we'll be at. But yeah, Boone, I'm excited. I'm fired up about it. Get your merchandise too. Random plug.
This be the collab of a lifetime, Boone, for you.
Oh my gosh. I don't think people understand. Like, I think people are, and this is the crazy thing. Again, I'm not spilling the beans because we're probably going to have a big promotion video. It's going to be exciting. People are probably thinking little simple, like, oh, it's big, think big and then think even bigger. Like big and then bigger. It's like, all right, boys, here we go. How about
5
that?
Big booms.
5 booms.
Yeah, 5 big booms.
I will say it's not Barstool. People are saying Barstool. It is not, but we're not signing with Barstool. Shout out the boys over there though.
Shout out Phil, by the way, man. Special shout out. Phil tagged us. He created a custom crunch time. He ordered a sticker from our shop, and now it makes sense. Custom guitar with crunch time on it. It's sick. I'm gonna learn how to play the damn guitar. Just you got to learn, and then that'll be the pre-show intro. It's just you sit we got to get an isolate you in a abandoned building. Make it. Yeah, get the vibes there.
Uh-huh. You got to get some Creed or something. I don't know if you play some
Creed. Yeah, don't worry about it. We'll get Phil, appreciate you, man. It's always supporting us since day one. So I want to give a special shout out there. But fellas, lots to get into today. Cryptic message sent out by Za'Darius Smith. Just a little cryptic. You know what I mean? It's always the emojis. You notice that? It's always the emojis. And Za'Darius here.
I love the emojis, boys.
Za'Darius here sent out this little emoji. It was like the emoji to this post by the 33rd team. And it basically is the highest percentage of pass rush snaps with pressure over the last 3 seasons. You see Micah, Nick Bosa, Myles Garrett, and then Za'Darius is on that list as well. So Za'Darius is just saying, I'm on that list. I'm productive. I'm still a good player. Come and get me. Lions or anyone else. So I love, you know what? He's right. He is productive. He's not hurt. He's never really hurt.
No.
And he's a good locker room guy. I can't wait to get to the segment later where there's a free agent some network was suggesting. It wasn't Za'Darius Smith, just to give you that. But I'm excited. I'm excited for that. I think there's a reason. Someone commented real quick. I just want to say this too. Someone commented on that post. It was like, maybe there's a reason he hasn't been signed. Maybe it's no, dude, I'm sure he has offers on the table. Sure. I'm sure teams have reached out to him and at least gauged some interest. And just to guess, he's with Cash Doll. He loves it here. I think he's waiting. There's that door that's cracked open. And he's like, I would love to stay here locally to be closer to his woman, of course, but a place he's played for, and he's comfortable with. So it's not like the guy, all of a sudden the guy just can't play ball and he has no offers and he stinks. No, it's not the case. He has offers. He's probably just taking his time because he has plenty of it. Just want to address that. So yeah, he's not ass. All right.
I thought it was funny how all the indicators that you could have listed the first one, Cash Doll's here. No, but I do hope.
The Pistons game with him.
It's a great selling point.
I'm sorry.
It's a great selling point.
It's a great selling point.
Mm-hmm. Woman is here. Woman is located here. I will say this. I don't think it's like a guarantee that he's back in Detroit, but Boone, I'll give you credit and I'll let you cook on this. I do think that it's more likely. I don't think it's 50-50. I know that's what you said yesterday. I was at 10%. I'll nudge it up to 30. Give it a 30% chance. I still think that he's going to be looking at the draft, looking at what teams take edge rushers and then kind of evaluate off there. But I still think regardless, I said yesterday, I don't think the Detroit Lions are going to take an edge with their first pick for sure, maybe not even with their second pick. So if that's the case, that's leaving the door open for Za'Darius Smith to rejoin with Detroit. And I hope it happens. There's no reason to not want Za'Darius Smith in Detroit, especially with this edge rushing room outside Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, I mean, we could be wrong. Maybe he is asking for very I don't know. Maybe he's asking for one of those $20 million contracts based off of my pressure rate. The statistics show this. And maybe that's why Brad and we just maybe a little naive and we're thinking, hey, no, this deal. If you look at the veteran edge rushers through this free agency, you've seen a lot of these guys signed for about 8 to 12 million. Like that's been kind of the price range. So if you can get that done, I just keep falling back. I feel repetitive saying it was Za'Darius. I just keep falling back on his contract situation prior to having to opt in for this next year when it was, hey, he's in for the 1 year and then the next year it's the dead money and it's going to be on your cap and he's not going to be suiting up for you. He's going to be somewhere else potentially. And I think that was a big factor, I think, with Brad to say, hey, let's get out of this contract and let's let the free agency, let's let the draft, let's let everything play out. And then this is the number we're looking at right now. I wouldn't be shocked if, and Brad said it, he was kind of straight up with the people and all of us. He said, I've been in contact with his agent. We're still in contact. It's not like the Za'Darius Smith thing is dead and gone. We're in contact. We're having conversations. And I think it's just more so a timing thing. If Za'Darius didn't want to be in Detroit, I'm sure he has a pretty big offer for a team that's kind of desperate for an edge rusher because right now he's probably the best edge rusher left on the market. So I'm that's kind of on my side. That's where I'm leaning more. So there's a pretty good chance of him returning just based off of, hey, he hasn't signed yet. If he wasn't coming back, for sure, he would have been signed already because I can almost guarantee there's a team out there that is desperate for an edge that would have been willing to give him what he wanted. And he kind of probably wants to compete for a championship. And he was just in Detroit, cash doll, everything lines up. So I guess it depends in the draft. Is it cash doll?
No, yeah, no. I just think it's funny how we keep hammering that point.
It's a fair point, It is
they both
point.
don't have enough money to relocate if they wanted to.
Yeah,
no, you're not wrong. I just say, hey, I think it's still in the air. I said a couple weeks ago, I said I bet you there's three or four teams in play, and I think it's a 33% chance across the board for him to land on a team. And right now, I would give the advantage to Detroit just based off of him being here, Super Bowl opportunity, and all of that. So, 2-year deal incoming. Keep an eye out for it.
Let's bring in our guest. He is an absolute freaking legend. All right, Scott. You know what?
Let's go.
I got to say this. He messaged me today. He's like, am I joining today? I'm like, dude, I am the biggest douchebag / idiot because Scott is one of our best guests, and that's on me for not reaching out to Scott today. I'm so thankful he did because now we get to talk draft with one of the brightest minds in the city when it comes to this stuff. Covers the Lions and the NFL draft for DetroitLionsPodcast.com, staff writer, footballguys.com. Please welcome in Scott Bischoff. Scott, how are we doing, my friend?
I'm good. You guys want to keep talking about me? I'll listen. It's cool.
You know what, Scott, I cannot wait to pick your brain because so much has happened, man, the last couple of weeks. I know you've been talking a lot about it, and it's like every day we're getting, it seems like, especially with Brad Holmes, I shouldn't be surprised, but every day it seems like there's a new position that's coming in for an interview, and everyone's freaking out about it. I want to ask you about the probably the most surprising one to most. What do you think of the idea of a wide receiver in the first round? Because they visited with Matthew Golden, really good player. We all like Matthew Golden. And Russ, who you know very well, he went on heavyweights, our guys Easy and Spenny, and brought up the idea how people should be probably more open to it because it's more realistic than people think of them drafting wide receiver. Where are you at with that possibility? And then them meeting with Matthew Golden.
It's as simple as just look at the amount of money that wide receivers are making. The premier receivers that they're, the money they make these days is crazy. So obviously, we shouldn't undersell how valuable receivers are to offenses. The Lions specifically, you add another player to that offense that creates problems for defense. Yeah, I mean, it's an intriguing thing. Golden is an interesting. He's an interesting study. Before he ran at the combine, and I think there's some. It's not conspiratorial or any of that kind of stuff, but I don't know that his time is really. I don't know that he really did run a 4.29. There's some chatter around whether or not he got out of the blocks before they started the timer. Whatever, doesn't matter. He's fast. The thing that stands out is that he to me, he did not look faster than Isaiah Bond did. When you watch those two, and you could watch them side by side, it's the same film. Bond always struck me as the faster player, where Golden struck me as the more detailed, nuanced route runner, capable of doing a bunch of different things. When I watch him, I think he and Goff would pair pretty well together, because I do think that he runs really reliable routes. He's very detailed in what he does do, and he's good after the catch. He's all that stuff. But, you look at the Texas offense, you look at the couple of years that he had at Houston, he didn't do, it wasn't like he went off in those places. So I think there's, I think there's a little bit of lack at the very, very top of this draft class, which is pushing him a little up, maybe to where he shouldn't be in a normal draft class, but he's a really good player. I do not expect him to be there at 28. So that's the interesting part of it is, if you have a guy in, it says some things. So, everybody gets excited about that kind of stuff. But then the secondary part is, what are you doing with Jameson Williams? And the Lions are going to, because they've drafted so well, and because they've put together, they've done some pretty remarkable things. They're going to be stuck with very difficult choices very soon. Are you going to be able to sign Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph? Are you going to be able to do, I'm going to miss a few guys, but it's Hutchinson, it's Jahmyr Gibbs, it's JMO, it's Laporta. It's going to be Branch and Kirby Joseph, Jack Campbell. Those are all I'm missing. I'm sure I'm missing one or two guys, but those are all guys who need a new contract pretty soon. If they're going down the roadway that they may need to part ways with Jameson Williams and add another receiver to the mix just to facilitate that, then yeah, Golden would make some sense if he's there, or if he's there in a little bit of a trade up. Luther Burden would make some sense too. But that's a whole other, I'm not trying to derail the entire thing by talking about JMO, but that's going to be some of the conversation around what the Lions do in the draft over the next couple of years. And sometimes, let's just bring up Kirby Joseph as an example. You might be drafting a safety in, say, round 3 who's going to replace Kirby Joseph because you can't sign him. And it's a bummer because you like those guys. And we all like Kirby Joseph as a player, but are they able to afford all of these premium guys? And I'd say the answer is probably no. Somebody's going to have to somebody's you're going to lose somebody. So, yeah. It's just a note for everybody to kind of pay attention to that some of these things, some of what they do is going to be forward thinking in terms of, we're not likely to be able to, bring this guy back. We need to replace him kind of stuff. I don't know if that's what you were looking for answer wise, but I like Golden. I think he's a good player. I do not think he's going to be available at 28 though. Not in this class.
Scott, I was telling you what, you're speaking my language. I've been preaching this the last couple of days. Like, there are going to be some decisions to be made in Detroit, whether people like it or not. It's hard. It seems like, and maybe you've seen it a lot too, Scott. It seems like some fans and maybe people who cover the team, it's something that people maybe are ignoring and don't want to address, which it needs to be. The JMO, Kirby, Brian Branch, all that stuff needs to be addressed. So
it does. And I'm not saying that those guys are getting moved this year, because you don't want the window to remain open. It's just, 2 drafts from this year, this draft, let's say the 2026 draft, you want to have some options for the players that you might not be bringing back, and you don't want those guys to be rookies. So, it's planning in the future. It might make things weird inside. If you bring Golden on and you have Golden and JMO, and you have, Amon-Ra, and you have all this stuff going on, there's not room for everybody, and there's only one football, but you understand why they might do something like that.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me, Scott. I do want to bring up, and you kind of mentioned there, them meeting with guys that aren't going to be available at 28. You've seen them in the combine. They met with Mike Green. They've met with Shamar Stewart. They've met with a handful of, especially edge rushers. that probably aren't going to get to 28. What are your thoughts on trading up for that specific position, at the edge position? And if they did make that move, I guess it's kind of two parts of this question. One, how far do you think they need to go? And with that, where would you rank the edge rushers that you would like to see the Lions move up for? Because I'm interested, because there's a handful you could say you have to move up for. Where would you say, hey, this guy is worth going up this high for?
I almost think that you need to jump in front of Tampa in some scenarios. I'd say the late teens would be a good place to get to. I don't love Emmanuel Williams' game. We've been over this, but you got to swallow some of that stuff at times. He's 20 years old. He's big. He's 6'5", 260. He's got 34 and 3/8-inch arms. He's physical. He's just not going to give you, over the top pass rush productivity. But for what the Lions are asking for, he'd be a really nice compliment. If you had to move up 10 spots or so to get him, yeah, fine. Shamar Stewart, the story is there's a long story around him. I would go up a little higher to grab Stewart than I would for Emmanuel Williams, just on the athletic upside. But both of those guys, I think if they fall into the mid to late teens, yeah, you should start getting on the phone and making some calls about those guys. The other one is Jahad Campbell. I know he's got a shoulder injury, so he might fall. There was a conversation around some people we talked to. The Lions might think that Jahad Campbell may be available to them at 28 because of his shoulder injury right now. So that's something to pay attention to. That's a swing for the fences. That's kind of like a home run kind of move. And I know he's an off the ball linebacker, but he's a pretty dynamic player who can affect the game in three ways. In coverage, he'll run, he'll track down runs. He'll play his gaps. He's physical. He's all that stuff. He's not always going to take on blockers, but he's kind of a weasel where he'll just kind of manipulate his way back into his gap after he jumps out of his gap to not have to take on somebody. So it's effectively the same thing. He's doing his job. And then as a blitzer, he's awesome. So as much as Holmes has talked about Jahmyr Gibbs as an offensive weapon, Jahad Campbell would be a defensive weapon, but I understand it's a linebacker. So other edge guys, I think Nick Scorton, I'm not sure that he's a player you'd have to trade up for. His story is interesting. He went to A&M with Shamar Stewart. A&M likes those guys to get big and bulky. They play them the same way Georgia plays their front, where the edge players are in like a 4-eye stance or head up over the tackle. And their first responsibility is to step into the B gap towards the ball. So it's hard to find true pass sets where these guys are lined up outside the tackle and winning that way when their job is really to just sort of muddy things up and make runs bounce outside. So, we got to understand the limitations of the scheme that they're in and what that means going forward. I think if you put Shamar Stewart lined up outside the tackle and just asked him to physically either use speed and quickness and power to turn the corner, you're looking at a guy who could do it at a high level. I know he's only got 4.5 sacks in his college career, but he is very productive against the run. He's very heavy-handed. He's big. He measured 6'5" and 267 after weighing like 285, throughout the season at Texas A&M. Long arms. He's 21. He turns 22 in November. Dude can play. It's just a matter of, can you project some pass rush productivity with him going forward? And I think you can. And I don't think it's that hard to do. You can watch him make plays against the run where he is lethal against the run at times. So yeah, Emmanuel Williams is 20. He's going to be, I want to say he turns 21 in June. So before his first season, he turns 21. He's a young player. I like him as a player at 28. He's not necessarily a player I would love to move all the way up to say 15, 18 range, but I have no problem doing it for Shamar Stewart. There's others. Donovan Ezeraku is a player I know we've talked about here. Mm-hmm. dream scenario is that he's just there for you at 28. You see how the draft sort of plays out and what's shaken out. The questions then become, do the Lions sort of set aside their size requirements and go after a player who some might consider to be smaller? I'm not in that camp. He weighed in 6'2.5" and 248 pounds, which is, it's a little lighter than say maybe the 250, 260 range that Emmanuel Williams played in at, but he's 6'2.5" and Michael's 6'5". So you've got a guy who's shorter, but he's got longer arms, or as long arms as Michael does. And to me, that's leverage, right? You're shorter, you're up under tackles. So I think you win a little more in some ways because you're better at playing the leverage game that plays right out in front of you. Again, 34 plus inch arms at 6'2.5". He's got a wingspan, I want to say, of 6'10.5". So, he's got all the length that you could possibly want. 16.5 sacks at Boston College last year. He's got a serious arsenal of pass rush moves. Those are the guys that I would say go get them if the Lions really wanted to do that. It's those three.
Would you say Mike Green? Like, what was your thought on Mike Green and kind of how high up would they have to go?
He's an interesting story. I think my guess is you wouldn't have to go too far for him, but this is a weird class. Like the Michael Williams thing, he could be off the board at pick 5, or he might slide all the way to 17, 18, 19 range, and who knows why, right? Green had some off the field stuff that, whether it's true or not, I don't know at this point. Who knows? Just from him on the field, very physical player. He's quick. He's got all that stuff. I don't know that he fits the Lions perfectly. From a, the whole grit character kind of stuff standpoint, but I think it's the same kind of thing that if you wanted him, you'd have to make a move, 6 to 8 spots range to go get him. The question is does he fit the Lions, and would that be something they would do? I don't know. Very talented football player, very powerful. He's, he'll muddy it up. He's a good football player.
And Scott, now we just talked about the front seven, or more so the defensive line. When you look at the trenches for the offensive line, because I think there's also a very likely chance that the Lions go offensive line at 28, where do you kind of rank those top prospects? At least, Will Campbell and Membu are not going to be on the board for the Lions unless they trade a lot of value to get up there. But when you look at that 28th overall pick, or at least just in the 20s, maybe they move up to get a guy. Who are your top prospects when it comes to offensive linemen for the Lions?
And they all serve a different purpose, but I think Donovan Jackson would be a player I would be looking at probably first in this scenario, because I think he fits the Lions offense, which is turned into a lot of outside zone with some man gap stuff. You take a player like Tyler Booker, and he'll handle himself fine in the power stuff, but there's no way he's going to play in their outside zone setup for Gibbs. It's just not going to do it. So he doesn't fit them. But Jackson can do all those things. He can do all the power stuff that you want. He can pull. He can move. He can down block. He can move people. He can, double team and then get out to the second level and seal linebackers and all that stuff. But he's also athletic enough to get out of his stance and get out into space and execute blocks in their outside zone system. So to me, he would be like priority 1 for them. But then it's a question of, are you looking at tackles, a player like Josh Connerly from Oregon? Are you bringing him in possibly to sit behind Decker and wait a little bit? Would you try to play him as a guard? I don't know that that's going to work so much. He doesn't punch great with his hands. So there's a lot of times when he kind of has just got his hands at his side and his chest is open, and defenders attack that. So there's a rep from the Senior Bowl. I don't know if you guys remember it, but it's Mike Green running him over, right? And that whole thing happens is because he leaves his chest exposed, and Green's there before he knows it, and boom, he's on his back. So projecting that inside is problematic because things are heavier and quicker and faster and all that stuff inside. But as far as being a tackle and a guy who could play tackle for you if there's an injury or take over for Decker at some point in the future, yeah, Connerly could be that guy. So there's utility in making that pick. Kelvin Banks, to me, is just a really good football player. I don't know where he's going to play. I do think that he can play guard at a high level. I don't know he's going to be there at 28, but if the Lions ran to the podium at 28 and selected him, I'd be very happy because he's a good football player. He's a really good football player. And then I know that there's a lot of Gray Zabel talk right now about Zabel and the Lions. That one I don't feel so good about. I don't think he could play tackle. He has a very unique body. He's 6'6" and 312 pounds, but he only has 32-inch arms. So you're not going to play him as a tackle. He's another one of those guys who doesn't punch with his hands, leaves his chest exposed, and is just going to he gets walked all over the place. And that's going to get magnified at the NFL level. So to me, Zabel is a player who's going to end up as a center playing at a pretty high level. But are you really drafting a backup center at pick 28 for this team in their window open now, let's win now kind of situation? I don't know that they're doing that. So that's kind of where that is.
Real quick, one more guy I want to pick your brain on, Scott. Ariante Ursi out of Minnesota. He's supposed to be like a top of the second round. Where do you think he falls? What do you dislike about him? He's
a huge dude. He's a very physical player. I think that's a guy that's going to play tackle for you. He's kind of a mauler. I think that in the early to mid second is where he's going to go just on the projection of can he play tackle for us? He's big enough that I think he could hold up at guard. I just don't know that he's got the foot quicks to do that kind of stuff. But I like him as a player. If you found a way to stumble into him at pick 60, I don't know that would happen, but who knows? It's the NFL. If you make a pick at 28 and then he's your guy at 60, I think you're hitting home runs with those picks, and just see where he develops into, because there are moments where he'll just swallow guys up and it's just like, yeah, that looked easy, pretty stuff.
Yeah, well, Scott, another position they're interviewing is defensive tackle. They've talked to Derek Harmon, which I really like Derek Harmon. I love your thoughts. Yeah. I would love your thoughts on him. But Deion Walker out of Kentucky, who had a massive, not last year, but the year prior, dealt with some injuries. What are your thoughts? And not just 28, because there's a kind of a bunch of defensive tackles that could be in that area, but also that second round, just that pool of D tackles. Tyleik Williams out of Ohio State, just a group of D tackles. And kind of the likelihood, any guys you really like out of that pack of players?
I like Harmon a lot, and I think he would be kind of a run to the podium pick at 28 in a scenario where Aleem McNeil is not ready to go in year one. He's not ready to go in week one, and my guess is he's on PUP for 4 to 6 weeks kind of thing. So Harmon, I think, makes sense at 28, but Tyleik Williams, I think the Lions do. I know the Lions like him. Not at 28, but in a scenario where maybe you have to come up from pick 60 to get him, they do like him. Kenneth Grant is an interesting conversation in and around what the Lions do. I think he comes in and would be a backup for DJ Reader. So again, if you take him at 28, you're not necessarily getting a lot of year one production from him, but it's going to take over the job when Reader is done. And then looking into round 2, TJ Sanders from South Carolina seems to be a player who I think makes some sense. I like Alfred Collins a lot, but he's not going to give you a bunch in the pass rush game, but as a run defender, you're going to get it all. Deone Walker he's an interesting case. He's huge. There's going to be weight concerns. There's going to be, things that need to be resolved there. He's very hard to block, but then there are times when you can see that he's gassed and he's just, he's tired, that kind of stuff. There's a bunch of guys like Darius Alexander from Toledo would be a dynamic. He's older. I think he's 24 or 25. But he would be a dynamic pick at pick 60 because he's ready to go now. So, there's going to be options.
Yeah, Scott, one thing, and I'm going to kind of get off the Lions here just for a second, because I think one of the biggest storylines of this draft right now that can kind of make or break the first round on what's going to kind of how the board's going to fall a little bit is this whole quarterback situation with Shedeur Sanders, Jackson Dart. This has been a topic on our show for the last few weeks, and really something I know Jeff's been saying, and then I'm starting to fall in love with a little bit, is Jackson Dart somehow sneaking into this top 15 or top 10 and going to the Saints. And then yesterday I said it as well. I think Shedeur, if that happens, there's a chance Shedeur falls if he doesn't land with the New York Giants. How do you see this kind of working out with the Shedeur thing? Is it kind of a situation for him to where if he doesn't go the top 3, that he ends up falling to the 20s or potentially out of the first round? Or how do you see this whole thing working out?
He could end up in Pittsburgh at pick 21. He could end up in a place like maybe with the Rams behind Stafford. He could end up in a place like Seattle. These are wild cards. Like don't go betting these things because it's just it's sort of like, almost it's not going to happen. But those are places that could work. But I do think Pittsburgh is a place where it would make sense. Clearly, New Orleans would make some sense because it's indoors and you're not having to deal with weather. That's one of the things with the Giants and the Browns and some of these in Pittsburgh. Like, he is not the perfect player to be playing outdoors in the weather and the wind. He's just not. But, if you get past, say, pick 21, it's tough to find anything happening for him with the exception of either the Browns or the Giants trading back into round 1 for him. That would be a nice thing for the Lions to potentially do. But yeah, I mean, that's where it is. I think the stuff today around the Giants going out to have him work out and all that stuff feels a lot like the owner getting involved and making sure that, hey, if we're not taking this guy because we have somebody else we like, let's make sure that we're all on the same page there, kind of thing. That's what it feels like, right?
Yeah.
And I know the owner wants action and he wants, things to happen quickly, but you can't take a quarterback at 3 if you don't have full conviction on him being the guy. And it sounds like they don't, but if you take him at 28, if you move from 34, 35 to 28, take him there. You get the 5th-year option, plus you get whatever superstar that you want at pick 3. I think that invigorates fans, and that's a good thing. We'll see how that works out. But his whole draft process has been a little bizarre.
And Scott, again, really doesn't have much to do with the Lions, but I think a prospect who's very polarizing. I think you kind of brought up Mike Kell earlier. Oh, he could go top 5 or he could go into the 20s. What do you think of the other Georgia Bulldog and Jalen Walker? Because there's a ton of upside there. Not a lot of production, but when you watch the film, he just pops off. So where do you think Jalen Walker kind of falls in the equation of the first round of this draft?
I find it very hard to see him slipping past pick 8. In fact, I would, in a scenario that's reasonable to lay out, I think he could be the 4th pick in the draft to New England.
Wow.
If they decide, then it's a couple reasons, but if they decide that they don't like these tackles like they should, right, at pick 4, his character and his just everything that he is about the game of football is the reset that building needs. It just is. And you obviously you've reset things with Vrabel, but then you add a player like that who comes in and he comes in and he's like, it's the old I can't remember the name of the movie, but it's I'm the captain now. He comes in and he in 15 minutes is like, yeah, I'm the guy. Like, I'm the alpha here, and I'm gonna, get us on the straight and narrow about how we're gonna work out and what we're gonna do and how we're gonna get this thing going in the right direction. He's that guy. Like, he is legit as far as the off the field stuff. And then you throw on the film, and he is all over the place. I know that some like to call him a little bit of a tweener, but he's short. He's like 6'1" and 245. Abdul Carter is 6'3" and 260, but he didn't play at 260. So, 6'3" and let's say he's 245 range, 250 max, as opposed to 6'1" and 243. they're kind of the same size guys, right? They play similar positions. They both, Abdul Carter's game is all about quickness and finesse. Carter's is not. He'll run through you. He's physical. He's all those things. Again, high character. So in a scenario where the Patriots need to really reset the culture there, he does it himself. And I could see them making that pick and just saying we're resetting everything. And we don't see much of a difference between like an Abdul Carter and a Jalen Walker. So that's the reason why I think Walker should go in that range and probably will not get past Carolina at 8. And that's what I would expect from him.
Before we get you out of here, Scott, can I just ask your opinion on the Jalen Milroe stuff? I mean, people are now trying to, suggest he may be a first-round pick, late first-round pick. He seems like a player that in a couple of years with the right system, with the right development, maybe the right support system could turn into a pretty good player. But I've seen like the Rams are bringing him in for an interview. What do you make of him? And I guess he's probably one of the most intriguing players, almost like the wild card of like that first round potentially, like the Giants trading back and getting him. What do you make of Jalen Milroe and maybe him translating to the NFL?
So I think this is a complicated situation. Surrounded by players, all his contemporaries need time. Like Shedeur needs time. He's not a finished player. He needs to grow into the game. Same thing can be said for Jackson Dart. All these guys need time. They need to be able to reach their upside, and that's going to take time and development. The same thing can be said for Milroe. He needs time and development. But the one thing that he offers that neither of those guys has is athleticism that probably parallels Lamar. I mean, it just does. Like his ability to run and outrun angles and do all the stuff that you do as a running quarterback. There's nothing like that in this class. So if you just approach them all like they all need work. They all have warts. There's flaws all over them. Like all the players have issues. He does too. But the one thing that stands apart with him is he's got all that athleticism, and then the off the field with him is great. He comes from a military family, great kid, really good leader, all that stuff. And it's just the questions then become is can he grow? Can he grow as a passer? Can he get a little more accurate into the intermediate parts of the field? Because as a deep passer, he's okay. I mean, I think he's better as a deep thrower than both Dart and Sanders are. They're just more accurate to the shorter intermediate parts of the field. But if you can get him figured out there, you have more upside than you do with the other quarterbacks. So I understand why. It's just, what happened in the last month and a half when he was being talked about the way he was being talked about and just dismissed entirely. What's happened in the last 2 weeks,
Yeah. Confusing.
So, I mean, I like him, and I think that he probably will end up as a first round pick just because of how much, teams need quarterbacks everywhere. He's one of the guys who's a difference maker with his feet already. So,
right.
Yeah. And I like the idea, like if the Jets were going to come back in, I don't want to be ridiculous and say the Jets are thinking about taking him at 7. But if the Jets decided that they wanted to jump back in and say at pick 25, take Milroe and pair him with Justin Fields, that's a really nice combination simply because you'd be running the exact same offense for both guys. So, and I think that makes sense. Like you don't have to change anything up. It's the same offense. It's the same stuff we do. You guys are the same guy. You're both very athletic. You both throw the deep ball really well. And we just got to figure out how do we manage to get first downs while we generate these chunk plays. So I think he'll be a first rounder, but I don't know where.
There you go.
It does feel like real quick. I get that kind of feeling at the end of the first round. There are a lot of desperate teams for quarterbacks, and you even see it too, Scott. And we've seen it the last few years. I feel like in that, like once you get into day 2, that 33, 34th pick, like a lot of teams you hear like, overnight we sit there like those 14, 15 hours from the end of day one to start of day two, you just start getting rumors that are coming in about, hey, this team's calling for the 33rd, the 34th pick because a guy like Jalen Milroe or, Tyler Shuck, who's been moving up, like they're just sitting there and just desperate teams that want a quarterback. That's kind of how I get a feel with Jalen Milroe right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly. I mean, it's draft time. You see wild crap all the time, Scott, and you're doing a really good job covering it all. We appreciate you. You can check out more, Scott. Of course, DetroitLionsPodcast.com.
Let's go.
And honestly, I mean, you kind of just worked some OT for us there, so we kept you a while. That's on us, but we love you, and we love
next week.
I love you guys too.
There you go.
It's good to join you. We'll talk whenever we talk next, which is I hope before the draft.
Next week, Scott, we got to get you on.
Yeah,
absolutely. Got to get you on.
Take care, Scott. We'll talk to you soon.
Yep, see you.
There you go. Scott Bischoff joining the program, talking to the fellas.
Legend.
NFL draft stuff, Lions related. Does a great job, man. He really does.
I love getting an outside source, especially with the draft and like not just Lions, but the quarterback situation, because I feel like us three kind of go through it a lot. And to get a guy who covers the draft and is like very inundated in everything going on, it's good to kind of get that outside look. Hey, I'll tell you what. I know we're all on the same page with the wide receiver in the first round. We have the same thought process, but me preaching for 3 days, this is a convo that we have to have. And like, I feel like there's Lions fans and people who are like, it's like when a kid's doing something bad or something, you're just like those people who just turn their head, like look the other way. Like that's what it feels like right now. I like how Scott's like, it's a conversation. That's a draft guru right there who's like, there's real conversations that are to be had. Klotzy, whether you hate it or not, there's just some real life convos that have to be thrown out there.
Mm-hmm.
Whether what Schiff got said, that's next year. Whether it's this year or next year, you need to have those convos in advance so you can plan next year and you can plan this year and you can plan 3 years down the line. You're never gonna have sustained success if you don't plan like that. So,
yeah, I mean, you could drop any prospect to Scott. He seems to know every damn person in the draft.
The Iriante Irsay one, I was like, he's locked in.
Yeah, he's dialed, man. He's the man. Been joining the show for a while, friend of the show. Yeah. But we have more to get to today. Like we said, we still have Crunch Time Tuesdays. We do trivia. We have your first round mock boon, which we'll get to later. And we also have a free agent, like I teased at the beginning of the show, which I do want to bring up who that is, and a player that we've actually never really discussed. And I don't know if Lions fans are maybe familiar with this player right now, but Pro Football Network. Okay, Pro Football Network came out with their best fit for the Lions, free agent that would be the perfect fit, as they described. And it's not Za'Darius Smith. It's another pass rusher by the name of Emmanuel Ogbah. Okay, played with the Dolphins not just last year, but the last 5 seasons.
Yep.
He had 5 sacks last year, 5 sacks the year prior, was hurt that prior year in 2022, but had 9 and 9 in 2021 and 2020 and 2021. So it gets after the quarterback. He's had back-to-back interceptions, forced fumble the last 2 years. He's played in 15 and 16 games. He's 30. Well, how old is he? I want to double check so I don't make it.
He's 31. He's
31 years old.
31 and 160 days.
Emmanuel Ogbah, who is a free agent. And you know what? We've talked about Za'Darius, who's like the most obvious free agent, but there are other guys in free agency that can rush the passer besides Za'Darius Smith. And if the Lions do pivot, this is someone that last year was the 29th best run defender, according to PFF. So he defends the run. Pass rushing skills. Obviously, the sacks are there. 5 sacks. It's like, okay, that's more. What would that be on the Lions this past year? I mean, he'd be top like 4.
Top 3, probably.
Yeah, 3, 4 on the Lions in sacks. He had 33 total pressures, which is almost top 50 in the league. So it's like exactly what you basically be paying for him. But he's a solid veteran, basically. And I'm going to be honest. If you don't get Za'Darius Smith, I don't think Emmanuel Ogbah, he kind of plays like that outside linebacker edge role. He's kind of played a lot on the edge this past season. I wouldn't mind it because it is, like Xavier D brought up, it's depth. And if you're getting depth, I'm cool with it. So Emmanuel Ogbah, I don't Pro Football Network, take it out. Who cares where it came from? Just the name, I'm open to it. I don't hate it.
I'm all in. That I think any reinforcements in that edge room, since Za'Darius say right now, as of now, is not on your roster. I think Emmanuel Ogbah, if you go watch him too earlier when you put him in there, I was like, I got to go watch a little bit and see. Like, I mean, he is like, dude, he even, whatever the year 8, year 9 he's going into, he's just a violent off the edge. Like he's very violent, and looks like, and like to me, that's kind of what you want. Like that's like a Za'Darius Smith type of player. I'm not going to say he's that level. Obviously it was Za'Darius with 9 sacks, but I think like what's something, boys? What's one of my things that I say all the time right now with this edge group that you need? You don't need a 10+ sack guy, but what do you need? 5 to 8 sacks.
Yeah,
like that's all.
Mean, pretty much.
You need a handful of guys who can get that for you. And if Davenport's healthy, all right, you're good there. If big word, if. But then like in Emmanuel Ogbah, like the last couple of years, like he's played in 16 games, 15 games, and the 9 the year before, and then the 2 years before, 17 and 16. For the last 5 years, he's played in 15+ games, and he's had 9 sacks, 5.5, and 5. So if he's healthy and he's playing, he's producing, and he's giving you production, and he's good at the run game, and he's a vet. Like he knows how to win. He knows what it takes to go out there and produce. So I mean, I think those are the type of players, like I bring it up all the time. Emmanuel Ogbah, Za'Darius Smith, Matthew Judon. Those are the players that, hey, they can get you 5 to 8 sacks if they play a full season and they're in a good position. And especially, like, think about it, but it's like Kelvin Shepherd, man. Like, give the man something to work with this year. Like, don't throw him in the fire with the hurt Marcus Davenport. Go get a veteran edge rusher that can work with Aiden Hutchinson, that can work with Marcus Davenport and AQM and those guys. And yeah, I feel like it's a must. Like, I'm still like,
he's better than AQM. I'll say
100%. But like then, and at that point, like,
all respect,
it's best man wins that position, and you have the money to go out and spend $7 to $10 million, even if it's just a 1-year deal. You just have to get it. You have to find another guy there, and even if you draft someone, you're like, well, where are the snaps going? You find a rotation and you figure it out. There's going to be injuries, and you have the depth. Like that's the biggest thing moving forward, in my opinion.
Yeah, guys. I mean, we've been bitching and moaning for Brad Holmes added defensive edge to this group of guy to get quarterback. So to bitch and moan if he brings in Emmanuel Ogbah, you're just bitching and moan to bitch and moan at this point. You can't have a perfect world. So if Emmanuel Ogbah comes in, obviously he'd be depth, but to have him and AQM in that second line of defense, hopefully with Marcus Davenport as depth, that's a great rotation to have. Say you take a rookie, he's not panning out. All right, throw Marcus Davenport. Marcus Davenport gets hurt 3 games in, you got Emmanuel Ogbah. Emmanuel Ogbah gets hurt, you got AQM. AQM gets hurt, you got the rookie. My point is, you bring in Emmanuel Ogbah, you have a legitimate NFL body, not a legitimate defensive end too, but you have somebody that can go back, literally turn on the tape and say, this is not a project. This is not anything you have to stress over. This is somebody that can get to the quarterback. So if Emmanuel Ogbah comes to Detroit, I don't think anyone should have a problem with it because it's going to be dirt cheap as well, most likely, if Brad Holmes is pulling the trigger on it.
Yeah, and I'll say this too. Side note, like Emmanuel Ogbah on board. What I can't do right now, boys, is I can't stand what's happening because it's not just locally. Because it's not much locally, but this Jameson Williams conversation about him getting traded, which we've already addressed yesterday. We don't want Jameson Williams traded. We already shared our thoughts on that. Doesn't make a ton of sense right now, unless you draft a wide receiver, then you're like, okay, let's trade him. But then I see lists like this, and they're just blatantly, in my opinion, disrespecting. Now it's getting a little egregious. All right. And I don't care where it came from. I'm going to address it. All right. This is the 2025 pre-NFL draft wide receiver 2 rankings. This is from a fantasy football network, Top 1 Fantasy Football. So if you want to bring up, well, it's fantasy, I don't give a shit what it is. I disagree with this list. And honestly, the biggest problem I have is how in the hell is Puka Nacua a wide receiver 2?
That's I think more shocking than anyone on where they're at on this list. I think that's like, what are we doing here?
So even if you want to do Devontae Adams, I think honestly, if I'm being real with you, I think he'd still be probably 1 as a wide receiver 2. But regardless, all right. Look at where Jameson Williams is ranked. He's ranked on this list 9th for wide receiver 2s. Ahead of him, Deebo Samuel, Xavier Worthy, Jordan Addison, Devonta Smith, Cooper Kupp, T. Higgins, Chris Godwin, and then Puka Nacua. This is so disrespectful. It's not even funny. Like, you can't tell me that Deebo Samuel is a better wide receiver too right now in their respective careers than Jameson Williams, who actually doesn't get many catches, if I'm being real. I mean, in terms of catches to production, he's one of the rare players. Doesn't get a ton of catches, racks up a ton of yards. He's a big playmaker. He's a touchdown machine, big play waiting to happen. And that's why, whether this is fantasy or it's just NFL, this list is bogus. He's better than Deebo. He's better than Xavier Worthy. Now we get to the top, 6, Jordan Addison, Devonta Smith, Cooper Kupp. Because I think the top 3 I don't hate. But Cooper Kupp right now,
Zero chance.
Not Triple Crown winner Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp right now. I think Jameson should be right where Devonta Smith is, in my opinion. He should be significantly higher. He's a very good wide receiver too. And if you want to argue Devonta Smith, I'll have that. But one player I will not have the argument with right now, and if you want to, it's fine. I know Klotz, bumping his shoulders up. Is Jordan Addison. Like, I think Jordan Addison's I think it's close. I would still give the edge to J-Mo, but he should be in front of Jordan Addison and right behind or in front of Devonta Smith. And Cooper Kupp should be out of there. So they should all be higher. But this list is disrespectful. Disrespectful, man.
I will say this, and I want to bring this up real quick. And I'm looking at it.
And Jalen Waddle should be higher. I mean, that's
I think I was literally Jeff, when I saw Jalen Waddle at the bottom, I go, what are we doing here? Like, okay.
Forget how good he is too.
Context to this list, and I didn't realize it until about an hour ago.
Darnell Mooney.
It's a fantasy football list, so I think it might.
It doesn't matter. He should be
go
higher.
off fantasy football points, which Jordan Addison had more touchdowns and more catches. So if you're breaking down the points,
with JJ though.
No, I'm just saying. Last year, I believe Jordan Addison had more fantasy.
No, but this is this year.
I know, but I think that's part of the reason why they put him above is because of the catches and touchdowns. That if you look at last year, and again, I could be wrong I got to look at the points. My guess is they looked at last year's points and they went, Jordan Addison had more than J-Mo. We're going to put him ahead. And probably same with like the Deebo and Xavier Worthy one makes no sense to me. And by the way, too, Brandon Ayuk being on a wide receiver 2 list and being 10th on it. Yeah, he's injured. He's wide receiver 1 for the 49ers. Jawan Jennings, Klotz, I love him. He's 800, 900 yards this year. Ricky's not wide receiver 1 either. Brandon Ayuk, when healthy, is not wide receiver 1. They have him 10th on the wide receiver 2 list. That is nuts. But no, yeah, I'm with you, Jeff. I mean, Cooper Kupp, put him down. If you want to argue Devontae's, I'll say this. This is the argument that we've had for weeks on this show or months this offseason. Who would you rather have, Devonta Smith, Jordan Addison, or J-Mo? Who's the better wide receiver 2? I personally, and I've said it before, I'm taking J-Mo over both of them. But I can see, like, I can sit back and listen to an argument if someone wants to say one of those other 2. I can. But me personally, I'm taking J-Mo over the 2, just based off of production when it comes to how many catches he's had.
Klotzy?
Yeah, well, I mean, J-Mo is getting disrespected on this list, but I compiled my top 10 wide receiver 2s here, and I did what you guys so expertly pointed out. You take Puka Nacua off, you put in Devontae Adams, but Devontae Adams is number 1 in my opinion. This is non-fantasy football, by the way. T. Higgins is 2, Chris Godwin 3. Number 4, I have Jordan Addison. 5, I have Devonta Smith, and 6, I have Jameson Williams. If we can get in the debate again, we can.
No,
I
Chris
just
Godwin?
Jordan Addison and Devonta Smith.
Top 3.
Oh,
top 3 is the same as there. I put T. Higgins in front of Chris Godwin. But when I look at Jordan Addison, Devonta Smith, Jameson Williams, I think both Jameson Williams or Devonta Smith and Jordan Addison are just better all-around wide receivers, better hands, better route running. Jameson Williams is very good. I just think when you talk about who would succeed more as a wide receiver 1, I think those 2 would. But when you look at J-Mo compared to the other guys, Jameson Williams is somebody that I don't know if he quite reaches 1,000 this year because I understand he missed 2 games. But I do think a big part of this is I think Sam Laporta has a big year in 2025. I think that they make it sure that he gets back into rhythm, gets in the focal point. And I do think that takes some touches away from Jameson Williams. I think maybe if instead of 1,000 yards this year, he has like 950, 900. I still think he's at that same level. but he's a top 6 wide receiver 2 in the NFL. I don't think you could find a way to tell me, especially nowadays, that Deebo Samuel at this point in his career, when he can't even stay healthy through half of a season, is better than J-Mo. Xavier Worthy, I can see the vision, but not yet. Like, he was very good last year, especially as a rookie, but Rashee Rice is going to come back. He might not be able to do as much with Rashee there. But J-Mo, boys, he's an elite wide receiver too, and I think with time, this disrespect is going to stop. But I agree with you. Cooper Kupp has no business being up here. I had Cooper Kupp. I had him at 8 in between Jalen Waddle and George Pickens, especially the fact like Mike McDonald, that is not going to help that you're going from Sean McVay to Mike McDonald. Mike McDonald's a good coach, but defensively, offensively, they had JSN, they had DK Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett. If you can't make it work with those 3 as far as like, hey, a consistent number 1 guy, DK's unhappy, I think it's going to be hard to feed 2 slot receivers with JSN and Cooper Kupp and say, you know what, Cooper Kupp, 4th best wide receiver 2 in the NFL. I don't see it happening. Going to be a top 10 one, but not top 4.
I made a bad decision in my mock draft, and I just realized it. I drafted a wide receiver with the Seahawks, and I forgot about Cooper Kupp.
No, you can't give it away. Can't give it away.
I'm saying it now because just so people know, but like you don't know which one. I drafted a player that's like Cooper Kupp and JSN.
No, you'll be all right. Trust me, you'll be good.
I guess Cooper Kupp's old, so it doesn't matter.
We got 2.0 next week, Boone.
Yeah, I just completely. Honestly, I'll say this too with the mock drafts. It's actually like if you're like really trying to like legit like instead of just people just having fun doing it. Like I sat there for hours today.
Just tweaking it.
Tweaking it, looking up news. I was looking at I legit like looking up top 30 visits for other teams. Like it's the accuracy. Hopefully we're accurate. But this list is BS. So
it's terrible.
I think honestly, and I think it's just because it's a fantasy one. I'm just gonna stick with that. I really am.
It's still bad, and I like fantasy football.
Not a great start.
All right, let's get to your first round mock.
Before we do that, I just want to add the thing in there with Jalen Ramsey. Are you boys? Is that at 0.0?
Okay,
Jalen Ramsey, the Detroit. Fuck no. Oh my!
I saw the doc put it out, and someone on CBS put out there and said there's a legit conversation to be had about Jalen Ramsey to Detroit based off of just like depth in the corner room with not Amik, but with Terrion and DJ Reed, just bringing in a veteran depth. And I'm out because I'm like, how does it fit? But the fact that it's out there at all, it's like to me, like what's happening?
I'll tell you this. It's a big fat no. All right, get him out of here. I don't want nothing to do with Jalen Ramsey. I think Jalen Ramsey is still a very good corner, but 2 things are for certain. 1, they don't want that headache, and 2, he's making too much money. So it's not going to happen. There's a 0.00000% chance of it happening. And I love the doc. He's just doing his job. It's the offseason. And with the offseason comes conversations. That's why we talk about Mike Payton's article about trading J-Mo. Like, I'm not mad. Listen, guys are going to have conversations. But this is one of the most dumbest ideas, like, in the history of ideas. It's ridiculous how stupid that is. Like, not the doc's article. But the fact that if there's someone out there like, trade for Jalen Ramsey. No.
Is he like right now? Did he get released or is he still on the team?
No, he requested a trade.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know about the assets then. I just saw the money side of things that maybe it would be cheaper because
he's due like 20 mil, I think.
Oh,
and even if
they might release him.
Even if Jesse says pretty sure Miami's paying most of it, don't care. Yeah. I don't want. I'm good. I'm okay. I don't want that. I don't want it. I don't want that headache.
Who's that? The money guy, the Ramsey guy.
Dave Ramsey? Yeah, Dave Ramsey would approve of that.
Tyler Chavez. I knew that. He said Dave Ramsey. I was like,
yeah, trade for Dave Ramsey before the cornerback. Yeah. At least Dave Ramsey could help out. He could give you some good financial advice. Jalen Ramsey, on the other hand, he's an alpha, man. You know, he's an alpha. When you sign up for Jalen Ramsey, you're getting Jalen Ramsey. Like personality, presence, like maybe. I'm not gonna
say it. Never mind. I'm not.
I'm
not gonna start that.
Yeah. Well, Michael said it would cost the new team around $14 million. Yeah, like that's like
maybe it's something we need in the corner room.
You don't need that in the corner room.
You need something else because hey,
So
I like DJ Reed, though. I'm with DJ Reed.
Do we like Terrion Arnold?
Love Terrion, but he still has to prove that he's
Jalen Ramsey. He is past his prime. It happened like last year.
And that's why I think the depth,
before.
that's the argument when I read Doc's article and the guy from CBS today, he just said depth. Like, obviously, Terrion and DJ Reed are going to be your guys, but that third corner, I know Meek in the slot, but that third guy, if a guy goes down or if you're rotating.
He won't come here and be a third corner.
That's the biggest thing. When you read that article, you're like, will Jalen do that? Probably not.
Absolutely not. Because, again, like, he has a big ego, and rightfully so. He's Jalen Ramsey, one of the best corners of like the last decade. But no, I'm good. And he already won a ring. So it's like,
yeah,
you know, I mean, he just wants to go somewhere where he'll play a lot. He's not going to go somewhere and take a back seat. Watch, like, the Eagles will trade. Like, it'll be some other team that'll just welcome him in, and they can deal with that, man. I'm cool. I'm cool with it. I am.
We got Rock Ya-Sin, as Little Stinky says.
We got Rock Ya-Sin at home with Avonte Maddox. We'll be fine.
Little Stinky, man. Little Stinky's he's preaching facts. He's Rock Ya-Sin.
If there's a what's the guy's name, real quick, in the chat? If there's a Dookie Pickles, please show yourself, because I keep getting tagged from this guy, but he tags me. I think he tags you boys too. Tags us in like giveaways, like random giveaways.
Yeah, he's just
like,
trying to get some things, man. You know?
No, it's fair, but I just want to know who he is. Like, does he watch the show, or is it just like, is it like a spam account?
Yourself.
Yeah, or is it like a real guy? If it's a real guy, I don't care, man. I'm
Dookie Pickles on Twitter, man.
I'm rooting for him to get a one of these giveaways, man. I'm rooting for it at this point. It's like I just want to know who he is so I can root for him together.
So let me address this. Keith. These names, man, keep getting better. Keith. Let me talk to you, Keith.
Keith.
He said, where's the but our locker room is already strong talks? I agree with that. I think the difference is when I'm discussing a rookie, it's a lot. I think it's easier for a rookie to fit into a locker room with maybe some personality issues because he's a rookie surrounded by, you know, veterans and guys that can influence him. Jalen Ramsey, he ain't gonna look. DJ Ritter could be like, "Hey, man," he's gonna be like, "I don't know, I don't care who you are. I am Jalen Ramsey. I am a future Hall of Famer. You can kick rocks. Like, I'm Jalen Ramsey." I think that's the same thing I brought up. I said I'm consistent because I talked about this when, remember, Devontae Smith was Devontae Adams was available. I don't want Devontae Adams either. Like, I did not, because it's Devontae Adams, man. Like, you know what I mean? He's Devontae. Jalen Ramsey. You're not going to tell that man how to act. You know what I mean? It's probably a little easier for a rookie. You know, he's like the first time in the league. He's looking around a bunch of vets who have been in the league for a while. So that's where I'm at with it. And I know Jesse said Brad was in LA when Jalen was there. And so he probably knows even more. And that Rams team went on a run. They won a Super Bowl. It was awesome. That was also what
we're out on. Yeah, I'm. You convinced me fully. I'm done with that. I'm not even going to consider it.
Yeah, and that was. I mean, they had Von Miller, Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey. They had a collection of really good players that are all in that level. Kind of. I think it would be a dumb move. All right, let's get to your mock, Boone. You got your first round mock, full first round, including the Lions.
1.0.
1.0, and we'll get to Klotzy's on Thursday because we'll have the doc tomorrow. So we'll have Klotzy's, and then next week we'll all do a second one Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we're off for the draft. So These are our last kind of full first round predictions. Boone, you're up today. So talk to me here. What'd you decide to do, and why did you decide to do it?
This should be fun. This should be fun. Can we zoom in a little?
Yeah, can we get a zoom?
I can't read my own. I can't read that. That's pretty small.
There we go.
Yeah, that's perfect. That is perfect. All right. Let me break this down for the boys, because I have some on here. I'll tell you what. There are some picks on here that some people might be like, Booner. It took me 2 hours to get this, 2 to 3 hours. And like I said earlier, I went and did research. Like, I went to go see that there was rumors. I went through each team to see rumors. Who did they visit with? Not only just top 30 visits with, closed workouts at schools, what am I thinking of? The combine interviews, like all of that. I went through each one and said, all right, what is each team looking for? What are their needs? Who have they met with? Who have they met with 2 or 3 times? And I went through it. First overall pick here, boys, the Tennessee Titans. I obviously went Cam Ward. I think that's a done deal. If there was any gun to head pick, try and guess one pick in this draft, I would go Cam Ward. That's the easiest pick I think of all time. Number 2 overall, I think this is another one that over the last 48, 72 hours, I would say has been kind of a situation where Travis Hunter, if you look at the odds, and obviously the odds don't tell you everything because anything could happen, but everything's leaning towards the Cleveland Browns wanting to bring Travis Hunter in to kind of play both ways. He actually said today, boys, don't know if you heard this, but he said that if he doesn't play both sides, he's going to retire from football, and he does not want to play football if he only plays one side. So I think a team like the Browns is a team that would be like, hey, go play whatever position you want. Like, we just need to win. Like, go do whatever you want out there. Run around the field. Number 3 overall, Jeff, this is where the Shedeur Sanders kind of saga starts. Is he going to end up falling, or is he going to go to New York? And I think if he doesn't go to New York, I think he falls into the 20s. I think he starts falling a little bit. I think the Giants ended up just going to Abdul Carter here. You had the 2 quarterbacks that they brought in this year. I think they're going to try and just push until next year and try and get a quarterback or try and trade for someone or sign. I think they're going to go Abdul Carter. I think it's too hard to pass on a guy like that. 4 overall, I did New England Patriots get Will Campbell. Klotz, I know I said Armand Membu is better. I think with the Patriots, I think they want a guy that could potentially play left or right and kind of move around if needed. And Will Campbell, if you take both of them, Armand is strictly, in my opinion, from what you read and see, he's strictly played right his whole career, and that's kind of what he's used to. And I think Will is just more so versatile to where the Patriots, hey, let's protect Drake May. If we need left, right, whatever we need, we have a guy that can do it all, and we know what we're getting. That floor is very high. 5 overall, Mason Graham. I don't really need to explain this pick. This is kind of a BPA. Like they can really use anything right now in this rebuild that they're kind of going through. 6 overall, Ashton Genty to the Las Vegas Raider boys. Pete Carroll, Skittles. I call Marshawn Lynch Skittles if people didn't know. But no, yeah, I think Pete Carroll wants his run game, and I think that's Ashton Genty for them. I don't think maybe you can argue they try and go quarterback for the future. That man doesn't care about their future. He wants to win today. He does not care about 4 years. He won't be in the league in 4 years. He might be retired in 4 years. 7th overall, the New York Jets. Armand Membu, right tackle, Klotz. And I know I'm just going to look ahead here. I know I have Tyler Warren at 10, and I know you're probably after going to say, well, you're arguing not to take a tight end that high.
No, again, I like the pick. Like I said, if they take Membu there, I'm all right for it.
Yeah, I think it's just more so like the need of the Jets is to finish this offensive line. And then with Chicago at 10, with Tyler Warren taking a tight end, I think that's a BPA play. But I think their offensive line, you saw them make all those moves this offseason. I think they're at the point to where they have the luxury right now maybe to, if they want to go offensive line, they can. But they have the guys there, and they can kind of go BPA to add a weapon for a rookie or a second-year quarterback in Caleb Williams. 8 overall, Jeff, give me Jalen Walker to the Panthers. Give me Jalen Walker.
That's fair.
What Scott said today, boys, Jalen Walker just has a ceiling that's like, if you hit on him, I think his floor is like, where that's going to be, and I think that's like top 15 production. But I really do think with Jalen Walker, I think that his ceiling's so high. And I don't know if you guys, like today, again, I was doing my homework on him. I watched a couple Jalen Walker interviews. He's dialed. Like he's a pro's pro. And I think that's something that's underrated about the conversations with him, as I just don't see a world that a guy that like him, who's a pro's pro, falls in the draft with the athleticism and everything that he has. I don't see a world that happens. 9 overall. This is the bold one, boys. Jackson Dart to the Saints over Shedeur Sanders.
This is your Will Levis.
It's gonna. It
is, and I'm telling you, boys, the reason with Jackson Dart, and I said it with Todd McShay brought it up, and I think this point when he said it, it stuck with me a little bit. But when you look at a Kellen Moore did not go out to. He did not go out to Colorado and see Shedeur Sanders. He went to Ole Miss and saw Jackson Dart. They've met with Jackson Dart. It feels like the comp for a Jackson Dart is more so like the quarterbacks Kellen Moore has worked with. The Dak Prescotts, Justin Herberts, Jalen Hurts. Like those are the guys that feels like that's who he's worked with. And I just think in a world like that, like he wants a guy that's extremely athletic who can run, which Jackson Dart is, and has an absolute cannon of an arm, which Jackson Dart has. So I think if they were picking the both, I think honestly, I just think with the new coach, I think they go Jackson Dart based off of those intangibles at the end of the day. 11th overall, I already talked about the Bears with Tyler Warren. I think that's just a BPA. They just have to do it. Tyler, or 11 overall, I wanted to go tackle with San Fran boys. And Klotz, I give you credit and I don't give you credit. You said there's a chance the San Francisco 49ers trade up in this draft for a quarterback or trade back in for a quarterback. The rumors today are that the San Francisco 49ers have been very active in the trade market to move up. The thing I'm telling you, though, Klotzy, is I bet you it's not for a quarterback. I can almost guarantee you it's probably for an offensive tackle or a defensive lineman that they think they can go up and snack. That's just my opinion. I don't think they're going to trade up for a quarterback if they're going to pay Brock Purdy.
Think your logic is much more reasonable, don't you?
Yeah, just because I think they're going to pay Brock Purdy. But they have the assets to trade up, so I wouldn't be shocked if they did. I have them taking Walter Nolan, defensive tackle, just building that defensive line. 12 overall. I have Amarion Hampton to the Cowboys. I've been on this for about a week now, boys. I've been locked into this one. I think Amarion's going to end up going a little earlier than people think, and I think the Cowboys would be a good fit. 13, Calvin Banks. With this one, this is a Teron Armstead. I mean, he's basically retiring, boys. I don't know if he's playing. They just have to replace him. You have to protect Tua, and I think that at 13, Calvin Banks I think it's a good pick. I think it's just like a very safe pick. Here's the big one, boys. I keep seeing in the chat people thought I traded out with the Detroit Lions. I did not, boys. We trade up. Give me Mike Green for the Detroit Lions at 14 overall. Now, I know it's interesting with the Colts, and there's one thing I wanted to do. I wanted to trade up with the Falcons because if you guys didn't realize it, the Falcons only have 3 picks in the first 6 rounds. So I think the Falcons might trade back or trade out. But either way, this is one of the ones where I looked back and said I kind of messed that up. Either way, 14-15, I would not be shocked if Dan Campbell says, hey, I'm going up for Mike Green. If Mike Green doesn't go top 10 or top 12, and you know that there's going to be a run on edges at some point, boys. We saw it last year. It didn't start until about 16 or 15 or 16. The edges didn't start coming off the board. I think as soon as someone kind of pulls the trigger on that, I think that's when they all start coming off. And I think Dan Campbell or Brad Holmes, I think he might make a move, fellas. They met with Mike Green. If they met with him and they like him, that means guess what? He's high on Brad Holmes' board. And what does Brad Holmes do if a guy that's high on his board starts
trade up for him? Go get him.
And he goes and he gets it done. So I kind of moved Mike Green up to 14 there. I said, let's just get this done here. I wouldn't be shocked at all if you had to do it. You give up 60 or you give up a second next year, whatever you have to do, get the deal done. Because once there's that run on edges, boys, it goes quick. And if you go see Jeff, you can scroll up there if you want to the top of the second row. That's exactly what I had happening here. Just a run on defensive lineman. James Pierce goes to the Falcons right after. I know you guys are like, why James Pierce before Michael and those guys? This was one strictly doing research today and seeing that the Falcons kind of like James Pierce, and they've met with him multiple times. They brought him in on the top 30 visit over guys, I think, like Donovan Izaraku and other edges. James Pierce was kind of one of the only edges that they brought in, and that's a big need for me or for them. Kenneth Grant at 16. Klotzy, this is one we've been out for months. I'm sticking with it. Kenneth Grant's going to be an Arizona Cardinal. As much as we hate it, he's going to be a Cardinal. 17. You like that one?
I do. I wish it wasn't the case, but I think it's a perfect fit. Very likely.
Great fit. And they need to get a defensive line. They need to build that thing up. 17, this is one that would be very scary. Michael Williams to the Bengals. They need defense. They can go Jihad. They can go Donovan Izaraku, Michael Williams. Just go get yourself a defensive lineman. Go get yourself a linebacker. Go get yourself a secondary player. Just go best defensive player available at 17 if you're the Bengals. This is the pick I kind of hinted at earlier, boys. Matthew Golden to the Seahawks. Cooper Kupp's old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just got rid of Tyler Lockett, DK. I don't know if Matthew Golden would be the fit. This again, they've met with Matthew Golden, I believe, when I looked it up. And I don't know if they met with the other guys. They might have met with T-Mac, but it just made sense to me. Just, hey, whether you think they need defense or not, if you have a guy like Matthew Golden on the board after just parting ways with your top 2 wide receivers, I think you have to consider a wide receiver in the first round with the Seahawks. 19, Jahad Campbell with the Bucks. I feel like this is just like, if you took out all 32 picks, this might be the most like Bucks pick. Like, it just feels like it fits perfectly because they kind of need, they have linebackers older. He's going to be that kind of Sam spot. I think it's a perfect fit for the Bucks. This is another trade, boys.
Okay.
Number 20 overall. The Buffalo Bills move up.
This is a fucking steal, Boone.
They move up to get a corner. Now, I'll say this. I'm not going to say they have a bad corner room, but if you look at their whole team, and you ranked needs from top to bottom with the Buffalo Bills off what they already have, I would have to say secondary is at the top of that list. You have Christian Benford.
Agreed.
But then you have Dan Jackson, which I watched the Bills all year long, and I couldn't pick Dane Jackson out if I had to. So you need to get guys in that room. I think you need to get corners. Your offense is solidified. Your offensive line's now good. You have your linebackers that you locked up in contracts, and you have a defensive line essentially. You could probably add more to it. But I think in the first round, like, I think the Bills, no matter what, go corner. And if a guy like Will Johnson starts to fall, or even Jahdae Barron, I think the Bills, they look to move up because they really don't need that much in this draft besides maybe corner. So you can make an argument, like, just give up your picks and go get one of the best in the whole draft. So I traded up. Who did I trade up with again? Who was that I traded up with?
The Broncos, I believe.
The Broncos.
Yep,
And
the
Broncos too. The reason I traded with the Broncos too, I was looking at, they're as well a team that kind of has everything, and there's nowhere, like, their team's pretty filled. Like, obviously they could use wide receiver, they could use certain positions, but they could definitely trade back without losing out on someone. Like, they're not desperate to, like, hey, we need this position. I think that they can kind of still add in the first round, later in the first round, and make that move. So yeah, I went Will Johnson to the Bills. Shedeur Sanders, boys, 21 to the Steelers. I think there's a lot of gas on this fire, boys. I saw some. Yeah.
One thing, and I think it was Schefter that reported it, and I just want to know, do you think it's a smoke screen? The Steelers came out and said that they have no plans of drafting Shedeur. Do you think it's just a smoke screen?
I saw opposite today. I saw that Mike Tomlin loves Shedeur Sanders.
Okay.
And no matter what, whether they bring Aaron Rodgers in or not, that the Steelers would not be against drafting Shedeur Sanders to help him learn behind Aaron Rodgers, or if he has to step up right away and play. I saw the opposite today, and that was what made me go back to the Steelers and let him fall to the Steelers. And maybe I'm wrong. I can't remember where I saw it, but I saw that they kind of love him, and Mike Tomlin really, really does like him. Maybe there's conflicting reports.
No, yeah, there's probably
happens all the time in the draft, which teams probably want that to happen, if I'm being honest. 22, this is a big one. I had Colston Loveland on the board still. I know a lot of people think that Jim Harbaugh, Colston Loveland. I think it goes opposite. I think if there's a wide receiver on the board, boys, I think they go wide receiver. Like, I think they need to get another weapon for this offense, whether it's a running back, or no, they just signed they have a running back. But whether it's a tight end or a wide receiver, if T-Mac's available, boys, I don't see a world where the Chargers go, yeah, we're just going to pass him and go Colston. Like, I think you have to. Even with Quentin Johnston there, like, I think you still have to just bring a guy like T-Mac in to pair him with Ladd and give Justin Herbert, finally give him some weapons, like some legit weapons in the future. And then 23, Packers, Jahdae Barron. I feel like this is a steal for them. Who knows what's happened with Jair Alexander? I think he's not. I think as soon – remember this, the situation with DeAndre Swift in Detroit. As soon as they drafted Jahmyr Gibbs within a week – DeAndre Swift is out. I think if they draft Jahdae Barron, Jair will be gone within a week after the draft, and they will move on from him. I think they just want to get a replacement first. Vikings, I have them getting Malachi Starks, safety depth, man. And what's his name? Harrison Smith is so old. He's probably has a year left. So you have a guy to kind of step in. 25, Josh Simmons, tackle. This is for you, Klotzy.
Come on.
Texans need to just build this offensive line. They need a wide receiver, but offensive line's more important.
Too. He's a top 10 pick.
Yeah,
like, if he's healthy.
Protect CJ Stroud at all costs, in my opinion. And that's the perfect pick to do it if you're at 25. 26 overall, giving Matthew Stafford another weapon with Colston Loveland. This is one of the ones that I love. Like, I think this legit could happen. I really do. I wouldn't be shocked if he's a Ram at the end of next Thursday. 27 Ravens, Donovan Izaraku. You guys know how this is going to go with Donovan Izaraku.
Yep, just
like,
in that Ravens uniform.
Yep, and he's going to have, like, there's going to be a season in the next 3 years. He's going to have, like, 15 sacks, and you'll be like, oh, no, how did this happen? 28, Shamar Stewart. This is where the Lions would pick. Obviously, if you're just joining, I moved up to 14, drafted Mike Green with the Detroit Lions, moves back with the Colts, and they got Shamar Stewart, which I think if they move back, boys, they need edge. They need defense. I think this is perfect for them. Like, if you have Shamar Stewart and Latu now, that's your edge group. Perfect. I'd love that for them. And then can you scroll up to the next one, Jeff?
Yep.
Last couple. And then 29th overall, Washington Commanders. I did Nick Emmanuel. Boys, Klotz, this is for you. Will Harris is their starting safety right now. In the first 2 rounds, I almost want to guarantee the Commanders end up drafting a safety, whether it's the kid out of Notre Dame, Penn State, Commanders, South Carolina. One of these guys. So I think Nick Emmanuel, I think he sneaks into the first round. I think it would be a perfect fit. I really do. They just need to build up that secondary a little bit, and they're going to be good. 30, this is the trade back with the Broncos. Boys, this is the one I
steal, bro.
I love this for the Broncos.
Yeah.
If this happened for them to trade back, because they really don't have major needs, but if they can trade back and still get an Emeka Egbuka to go with Cortland Sutton, I think that would be filthy. Like, that would be unbelievable for that offense, and that offense would be scary in the playoffs. Yeah, I really do believe that.
Like, bro, him and Bo Nix would just be such like a smooth combination.
Yeah. I think that's the perfect player, and a lot of people talk about that Emeka could come out and end up being the best wide receiver in this whole draft class. Getting him at 30, especially in a playoff team, is a steal. 31, I went Gray Zabel for the Chiefs. They always seem to draft offensive linemen. I think Gray Zabel, very versatile player. Losing Joe Thuney, I think they kind of need a replacement on offensive line. They need to kind of build that back up. And then 32 overall, Philadelphia Eagles, boys, Maxwell Hairston. There's really not a lot of people left on the board for the Eagles, but yeah. I think we all can agree a corner. They can definitely use a little bit of depth at corner now, and Maxwell is probably going to end up being a first-round draft pick.
Yeah, and they run his own scheme. I'm trying to think. Boom, can you zoom back in? There's honestly, because I don't think that the Saints take Jackson Dart. I think if the Saints are taking a quarterback, it's going to be Shedeur. But I'm not gonna like. There's a lot of that conversation, so I'm not gonna be the guy who. There's people that have a lot of intel, like you said, with Todd McShay. I don't know more than Todd McShay, especially when it comes to rumors inside the NFL. So I'm not gonna be throwing a fit. Like there's like I do think, and I was talking to Jeff yesterday about it. I think with Shamar Stewart, there's going to be a GM within like the top 12 to 15. Even top 10, that it's like, is there a guy? So I don't think he falls to 28. Again, I'm pulling hairs because we talk about Matthew Golden. Even though there still is a shot that the Seahawks take a wide receiver. Like you can't take, like you said, you can't take that off the board. I think Will Johnson goes top 15 just because he's a corner. Yeah, man. Like I think this is a really good draft.
No, Boone, you did a really good job. The only one I hate is Tyler Warren to the Bears. I just think it kind of goes back to the Aaron Glenn thing. Like all the points you made for Aaron Glenn, I would probably make similar points. Even though you said I know the Bears added some guys, but their starting left tackle is who?
Yeah, I mean it's what's his name?
That's actually a good. And I'm not even doing this on purpose.
That's
the problem.
Braxton Jones.
Yeah, Braxton. He's fine. He's a fine tackle. But I think Tyler Warren, I think they have more problems than just adding another weapon. They drafted a wide receiver top 10 and they need to draft a tight end top 10 this year. That's the only one I'm not a fan of. Every other pick, I don't really have any problems with, honestly.
Appreciate it, boys. I think with the Bears thing too, and I'll kind of explain.
That'd be such a Ryan Poles pick. Like, what are we doing?
It would, but I think if Membu and Will Campbell, if one of those guys are on the board at 10, I think you do it. And that's where I think with the Jets, where the reason I say no to Warren with the Jets is because you have a top 15 solidified tackle on the board. Is Nolan is Kelvin Banks, is he that? Yeah, you could probably argue it, but I just don't know. Maybe when I did this, maybe they didn't meet with Kelvin Banks, and that's why I didn't do it. But I did like with this, like Klotz, like with the Will Johnson, a lot of these picks that I made, I legit, boys, like I went in and just like, hey, who did these teams meet with? Looked up rumors, like the Bears, like everyone in Chicago and everyone is saying that if Tyler Warren's on the board at 10, that the Bears are going to go Tyler Warren. And that was kind of what made me go that way, especially like the difference between like the Jets are that one right tackle away from having a great offensive line. The Bears, you could still argue they have the Braxton Jones there, and they built it up this offseason. So if you built it up in the offseason, why would you kind of double down at tackle in the draft if there is a guy like that on the board? That's my only thing. And I was just doing research. But that was kind of how I went about the draft. That was why some guys fell the way they did. Like, you guys know I'm very high on Donovan Izaraku. I have him going 27th, but it's just because of the way some of these things fall. Like the Bucks with Jahad Campbell, the Falcons, like they met with James Pierce multiple times, and I don't know if they met with. I think when I was looking at it, I don't think they met with Donovan Izaraku or Shamar Stewart. So it just didn't make sense. Like, yeah, there are teams who don't meet with people and take them, but I just don't see a world to where typically if you're not meeting with them, you're probably not taking them. Yeah. So that was the way I kind of went about it.
Would be weird.
Yeah, which it happens. There are definitely, you hear stories about it happening.
Like I think the Niners like hardly meet with anyone.
Yeah, the Rams. I don't think the Rams met with anyone. I think the Rams did 0 top 30 visits. And today I learned the Jags, with what's his name,
Gladstone.
No visits, nothing. They didn't do anything.
Because the Rams don't do it either.
Yeah, they might have traveled to like pro days, but they did 0 visits. And I was trying to go through to see, all right, who did they visit? I was getting nothing. There was a couple teams like that, which it's hard to read. And it's kind of good because no one can read your draft strategy. Like, no one knows. But at that point, you just got to take a swing and hope that you can guess who they're going with.
Well, speaking of guessing.
Oh, I see what you did there.
It is time.
Oh, I don't got the shirt. It's all right, though.
It is time for Crunch Time Trivia Tuesdays with our he's a great host. Does a great job.
Let me get like strobe lights.
And today we're going to get into college football. So please welcome in Lukas Klotz.
Wow. Oh, wait, whoa, there we go. I still don't got the shirt, boys. I don't got the shirt, but we move on. We move on. This week's trivia. But Jeff, I believe you're up 2-1. And I think it was been a landslide after last week. But I feel like this is a level playing field this week, boys. College football.
There you go.
Yeah. We see your boy Nico trying to change the game and blowing up in his face, but we're going to last year. And I said in 2010, there's one question that goes before that, but it's really not that significant. But question number 1, fellas. Let me get it all loaded here.
Oh, college football. This is gonna
get got the music rolling? You got the music rolling, Hefe?
Yep.
All right. Question number 1, fellas. Again, best out of 10. If it's a tie game by the end, there will be one extra question. Like whoever can get the most correct. Remember the first time we did it, was like who had the top 5 catches in the NFL. Whoever got the most correct out of 5. It'll be one of those. All right. Question number 1. Boone, you're muted. Who had the most receiving yards in college football this season? What?
I say take that chat off, Jeff.
Oh, yeah. No chat allowed. A, Harold Fannin Jr. B, Tet McMillan. C, Nick Nash. Or D, the Buckeye, the true freshman, Jeremiah Smith.
All right. Got my answer.
I feel like this one's not that difficult.
No, it's a good warm-up.
Yeah. Get the gears moving.
Boone literally said it at the beginning of the show. So this one, I got good memory.
In 3, 2, and 1.
C.
Hey, Harold Fannin Jr., Bowling Green, 1,520 yards.
Hey, Boone.
You see that number? How close am I over there? 1,521 yards. How close am I?
You're. I'm pretty sure you're almost spot on. What school does he go to, Boone?
Bowling Green.
Where's Bowling Green State University located in?
Ohio, right next to Toledo.
What zip code?
419.
Yep, that's what I thought. Most receiving yards, Jeff. You better be ready. You better be ready.
I saw today. The reason is perfect because I was watching Peter Schrager today on ESPN for the first time, and he did a top 5 wild card players in the draft, and number 4 overall was Harold Fannin Jr., tight end, Bowling Green, the 3rd overall.
You know what? That's a good one. That's a great one.
All right. I thought it was kind of like obvious there because it was like we talked about these guys, but we haven't talked about Harold Fannin all year. There has been a need.
Good thing I said Nick Nash to start the show today because that really
got me. That's probably why you rattled me there. All right, next question.
Nick Nash had a good year.
Boys. We did receiving first. Who had the most passing yards this season in college football? A. Kyle McCord, B. Garrett Nussmeier, C. Cam Ward, or D. Jackson Dart. Kyle McCord at Syracuse, Garrett Nussmeier, quarterback at LSU, Cam Ward, I told you so, University of Miami, or D. Jackson Dart, Ole Miss.
I actually don't know this one. This is a good one, Klotzy. I got it. I got my guess down.
Locked in, boys?
Yeah.
It's tough because all of them could be it.
Yeah, I got it.
All right. Answers in 3, 2, 1.
B.
Hey.
Nussmeier, LSU.
The answer is Kyle McCord. Unfortunately, that is the case. Out of Q's, man, put up numbers. Let me give you exact stats to Kyle McCord this year.
He did have a big year.
Yeah, man. Statistically, he went nuts, and then he decided that, everything works its way out after Ohio State lost to Michigan. And you know what happens after it all. Let me see, though, for you fellas.
I know he had like a 600 or 700-yard year or game.
4,779 yards, 34 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions.
Jeez,
so he absolutely turned up inside that dome in Syracuse, New York. But we move, boys.
Respect.
We move to question number 3. In what year did Texas A&M quarterback Johnny Manziel win the Heisman? A, 2011, so B, 2009, C, 2014, or D, 2012. Johnny Money Manziel, one of the most iconic football players, period, college or NFL. One of the most memorable college quarterbacks of all time. Won a Heisman with throwing to Mike Evans.
Lock it in.
Did it happen? If it helps for both of you, think of NCAA covers, like the games.
I got an answer.
Hold on, I'm thinking still. All right, I got it.
All right, in 3, 2, 1.
2014, C.
D.
The answer is D. 2012.
There's no way.
What's the score now?
2-1. You know why, Boone? I did Mike Evans. How old is he? Go back. When was he drafted?
Yeah, but I did 10 years. Mike Evans just got 10 straight years.
But I think he won it. He didn't win it his last year, I thought, right?
I thought he left after he won the Heisman.
No, he won it. He won it as
he won it earlier.
Yeah, but I thought Mike was older. I didn't think Mike was a freshman with him.
No, I don't know what the case. All I know is
maybe
because I watched the Manziel doc on Netflix.
I was thinking too. Like I remember in high school when I played football, we were at practice and stuff. Everyone just loved Johnny football. Like it was like a big thing. And 14 was like my last year playing. So that was just I tried to do it. I tried. I almost switched to 12 too.
What school did Baker Mayfield attend before playing at Oklahoma?
This is easy. Do you know it, Jeff?
Yeah.
This is an easy one. Let's get the momentum rolling. Okay, we can fly through it quick.
Yeah.
All right.
Just say it out loud.
Yep.
All right. In 3, 2, 1.
D.
Texas Tech.
Yep. All right. We move. Good job, boys. Each you get a point. Give you a little gimme there. Figure that would be easy. Question number 5. This Fresno is like fill in the blank. This Fresno State wide receiver was second in the nation in receiving yards, with 1,718 in the year of 2013. A. Devontae Adams, B. Brandon Cooks, C. Alshon Jeffrey, or D. Keenan Allen. This one's a tricky one, boys. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, I know it.
That made Boone rethink so bad.
I already wrote down my answer. Now it's not my.
I know what you did, Klotz.
I don't know any other Fresno State receivers besides Devontae Adams. Is there another one?
No, hold on. I got it. I'm gonna take in this guess. I'm swinging.
I'm guessing. I'm switching. And if I lose,
I feel terrible.
If I lose because Klotz messed me up, I'm gonna be mad. It's okay.
Wait.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Just throw it. Just do it.
All right. All right.
All right. Answers in 3, 2, 1.
Devontae Adams.
D.
I'm happy Boone stuck with his answer. It's A, Devontae Adams. The wrinkle.
I did. Wow.
Keenan played at Fresno State 2 years before.
Oh, did he?
So I thought that was that would throw people off.
I didn't know. Honestly, I had no clue Keenan Allen played at Fresno.
One. I thought it was. I was like, no way he picked this question's too easy.
That's why at first I was like, did Alshon Jeffrey play at Fresno State?
No, Alshon played at South Carolina, so I went with the red and black.
Where Brandon Cooks go?
Oregon State. Just threw that in
Yeah.
because I think third that year.
He pump faked. I bought on it.
When I'm gonna be honest, when he says, "Oh no, I kind of feel bad," I was like, it has to be Devontae. Like, it just seems so obvious.
All right, question number 6,
Shout out to Eric Carr.
Who was the opposing quarterback Jameis Winston faced in 2014 national championship win? So when Jameis lost and he won in the national championship game, who did he go up against when he won? A, Taj Boyd, B, Nick Marshall, C, Marcus Mariota, or D, Aaron Murray? Which
I'm throwing a fastball. I have no clue. I'm throwing a curveball here. I don't know where the ball's gonna go. I'm just throwing something out here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go with this.
Nick Marshall.
I got it.
I know I'm wrong, but it's okay.
All right, answers in 3, 2, 1.
Taj Boyd. A. It's either A or C.
The answer is, in fact, B, Nick Marshall. Remember the year when they beat Alabama on that crazy, last-second field goal, and then they return it? You can see Nick Marshall. He's throwing up number 14. Nick Marshall got the Auburn Tigers, and I think it was Gus Malzahn, the head coach. But, yep, opposing quarterback. Jameis beat him. Question number 7,
Taj
boys.
Boyd, Clemson, man.
Yeah, hey, great college quarterback.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Question number 7.
Real quick, Taj Boyd was the one that went on ESPN and was doing homework.
Had the 2 chicks behind him.
Yeah. they were like, it looks like you have a lot of help over there, and he's like, I do.
Iconic moment. That was peak. That was peak Sports Center.
Yeah, that was.
All right, question number 7, boys. How many touchdowns did gunslinger Davis Warren, Michigan quarterback, throw in 2024? Typo there by me. A, 13, B, 16, C, 11, or D, 7? Michigan quarterback Davis Warren. Should say 2024. It says 2025. How many touchdowns did he throw this year?
I have no clue. I couldn't tell you anything about Davis Warren besides that one game. I remember I was at B-Dubs watching it and the clock management on the road. I can't even remember who we were playing.
Or the Texas game.
Wanted to throw my wings across the restaurant.
All right, I got it.
All right, fellas. Answers in 3, 2, 1.
A.
The answer is D, 7. He had 7 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. Davis Warren.
There's no way. There's no way, Jeff, that he ever would throw double-digit touchdowns on that team last year.
13's so bad too.
I think it was a Maryland game I'm thinking of too, by the way, where they lost and they couldn't. They had the ball a million times and they just kept letting Davis Warren throw it, and instead of handing it to their running backs that were running for 1,000,000 yards.
That's brutal.
So frustrating.
No, it's 4-3.
Morgan, let him cook.
Boone has the lead.
Frustrating.
It's 4-3.
Oh, 4-3. Boone took the lead.
He's got the lead. He got it right.
All right,
that Devontae one might be.
This is 8.
Which school won the first college football playoff national championship? It's a gimme. Get the confidence up.
I don't think it's a gimme for Jeff. He's looking over there like Jeff has no clue.
You haven't paid attention, Jeff.
Jeff has 0 clue. No hints, Jeff or Klotzy. Let me get one here. Don't throw anything out there. Marcus Mariota, Taj Boyd,
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Justin
Fields.
All right,
Justin Fields. I'm trying to think of some Georgia quarterbacks too.
We're letting this one fly.
Who were Georgia quarterbacks that long ago?
Stetson Bennett.
Not that long ago. That was just recently.
Stafford. Aaron Murray. Just had him up. Jake Fromm.
All right,
Jake Fromm. There we go. Good pull.
3, 2, 1.
The Ohio State University.
Yep, both get a point there. Way to not overthink it. The Zeke.
I don't know if Jeff has every letter written down and he just goes to which one he wants.
It off
he sees what I put and then just goes to the C on the paper.
I'm not wasting paper, man. Care about the trees.
You're saying I am? We need to order mini whiteboards for the boys.
We do. Got to pick those up.
It's a good investment.
All right, question number 9, fellas. Which player rushed for an NCAA 427 yards in a single game in 2014?
Oh,
A,
my God.
Monty Ball, B, Melvin Gordon, C, Trent Richardson, or D, Samaje Perine? And I won't give a hint.
No hints because I know it's between two players.
Yeah, me too. I'm struggling.
And I can't remember which one it was because I remember the game.
They're both really good college running backs.
Oh, I
don't
remember
know.
the game. I guess I'm going to take a flyer on this one.
Yeah, I'm taking a swing too. It's between two. We're
Man, two great running backs too. I might go watch their highlights tonight.
all right.
I could be so wrong. I'm switching it. And if I switch it, boys, I'll show you the last one. You're going to laugh if I'm wrong. All right.
All right, boys. You ready?
Yep.
Answers in 3, 2, 1.
Melvin Gordon.
The answer is D. Samaje Perine.
No way.
Melvin Gordon broke it with 407, and then like 2 weeks later, Samaje Perine did it at Oklahoma.
That's
crazy. It hasn't
Monty
been
Ball.
broken-
I was
hasn't
between
broken
Monty
in
Ball.
years.
Monty Ball was
It's
so
fine.
good.
I was Melvin Gordon or Samaj. I was battling. I just went with Samaj. I think I've seen. I remember seeing something about. Maybe we watched that game together, Klotz, like back at our old. Like I remember we did something. Like you told me about that.
Samaje Perine. That's such a good pull, man. I thought Monty Ball had like a 400-yard game in the Big Ten. I think it was might have been like Michigan State or something, or Michigan.
Somebody. It wasn't like a scrub school.
Melvin did. They both had 400 yards. They both dominated.
Hey, by the way, it's 5-5.
5-5. Question 10. Question
Michigan.
10. And I'm gonna be honest, boys. This one's a gimme. So I think we're going into.
No.
It might not
Don't
be.
say that because the Devontae Adams one I got wrong.
This is the question where I said it goes pre-2010.
In the Ohio State.
How many times has Ohio State beat Michigan in the last 25 years? Over the last 25 matchups.
Yeah, gimme.
Zero clue. I have zero clue.
This is going to be a battle of the guesses, Boone. Is
A,
this the last
13, B, 15, C, 11, or D, 17?
No, Boone, this could be for the win. This is the guess for the win. Right
I have zero
Over
clue.
the last 25 matchups, how many times have the Buckeyes won?
Oh, have the Buckeyes won?
Yeah.
Oh. I went, how many times did Michigan lose?
Well, yeah. Buckeyes win. That means Michigan loses.
I thought it was Michigan.
Thinking, Jeff.
I have a feeling. I gotta trust my gut. I mean, I got.
Should we just agree to tie so we can go into OT?
No. Let's just
If you guess it right, I'm gonna be so mad.
You could guess it right. I could guess it.
I know, but I would rather go to OT.
3, 2,
I hate
and
this.
1.
I'm doing it.
I'm waiting. Jeff, put yours up. I want you to look
Sorry,
at mine and write it down.
D.
Both have the same answer, and both are correct. Ohio State over the last 25 years has whooped that fucking ass.
Hey,
good thing I
25 years.
Boone, I was this close to picking 15. This close. But then I was like 15 to 10. That's too close.
I was just thinking Klotz picked it just to kind of dunk on me. They had we beat you 17 of the last 25 years. And I do remember Ohio State early on.
early on. Our whole lives, Boone.
Yeah.
All right, let me
I guess OT. This is tough.
No, this is the best case though, Boone. I like this because if it would have ended on a guess, that would have been brutal.
We've done what, 3 weeks or 4? This is our 4th week, and two out of the 4 weeks have been OT.
Okay.
Boone, this is a big win. You got to tie the series.
I don't know, dude. This is a lot of pressure, man.
I want you boys to think about this because it's kind of complex, but I think this will be the easiest one because it's the easiest schools to guess because they're all notable schools. So let's put it that way.
No hints.
Who? Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
According to points per game, it doesn't have to be in order. Who were the top 4 defenses in college football last year? Points per game.
Oh, we didn't need to do this one.
Who do you think had the best defenses in college football last year? Top 4. Because top 5 would include Army, and I'm not going to throw Army in there. SEC, Big Ten, ACC, Big 12. Which way you leaning, fellas?
I don't know, man. This is I know a couple, but the rest are brutal. Yeah.
Who did Ohio State beat in the national championship?
I can't give clues.
Jeff, let's talk this over. Me and you. Who did they beat? I don't know why I'm drawing a blank with the college football.
That's on you,
right
Boone.
now.
You got to battle. I can't help my opponent.
Boone said, "Let's talk this out."
Let's talk this out.
He's down 2-1.
Shit. I need 2 more.
I don't know, man. I mean, this is good, Klotz.
All right, I got mine.
4 defenses in college.
Top 5?
4. All right, I got mine locked in.
Hold on.
What?
So eliminate one of them because I said top 4 because 5th. This is according to points per game.
Army.
5th is Army, and I would.
And you said they're all big conferences, correct?
Yep, they're all big schools.
I'm gonna raise.
Oh, I have 2 I really like. I gotta eliminate one. This could be huge. I might bump out the 4th. Oh, hold on. All right, I got it.
All right, fellas. Here, let me get a picture ready to throw up, just so you guys can see. I am giving correct information.
I just bumped out my 4th as well, Jeff. To be fair.
All right, you fellas got your answers?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do it like this. Booner, I want you to read off or show your top 4.
Hands up, Jeff.
Oh,
I have.
Yeah, put me on the screen.
I have Ohio State,
Tennessee,
Notre Dame, Texas, and Penn State. You can see there I crossed off Arizona State. That could be a big factor. Penn State,
okay.
Texas, Notre Dame, Ohio State.
All right, Jeff, I want you.
Oh,
what if we have the exact
your
4?
top 3.
What do we have the exact 4?
No, Boone. You have one I scratched off.
What is
this
it?
could be massive. Penn State. I have. Hold on. I have Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame, and Ole Miss.
I need to see. To see.
Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame, Ole
Michigan,
Miss.
Notre Dame, Ole Miss.
You did based on points per game, right? Because
I scratched off Arizona State and added Penn State. You scratched off Penn State and added a different one. That's crazy.
Oh, hold on, boys. I gotta do this real quick. Go to full cam real quick, Cafe.
Oh.
Or 3 cam. There we go.
Oh,
all
sorry.
right.
You go, put it back. My bad. I hit the wrong one. I'm stressed.
Here we go.
I hate this.
I think
What?
we have
We have a tie?
I want to go there.
We have a tie?
You both
Ohio
have 3.
State.
You
Texas.
both
Ole
have,
Miss!
And Notre Dame.
Come on, Chad.
You both
Chad's
have
over
3.
here, Ole Miss.
We have 3.
So
Yeah.
you both have 3 each. Both of you missed Texas.
I have a
but-
way to do it.
Okay.
What's the one that Jeff doesn't have? Penn State.
Yep.
And mine's Penn State as well. I was going to say whoever's
No,
first.
Jeff has Michigan. You have Penn State.
Oh, so let's do whoever's the highest on the board.
All right.
So whoever's higher, who has the best defense?
I'll grab a picture. Hold on.
Jeff, this is big. This is massive. And this is the one time I'm against Michigan.
Boone, I thought Michigan. I was told.
Penn State had a better defense, I think, this year, statistically wise. In my opinion, I could be wrong. I could be so wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Boys, I've located the answer.
I could be wrong. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wait, so Notre Dame, Texas, Ole Miss, boom.
Oh, Ole Miss,
you know how many players
deep.
are getting drafted out of Ole Miss this year, Boone?
Yeah, Trey Amos, all them boys on the defensive line.
All right.
Think of that. Walter
I
Nolan.
have the answer, boys. I have the answer.
I just thought they lost.
Hold
many
on.
games.
Booner, you said Penn State. Jeff, you said Michigan.
Yeah.
The answer is. I'll scroll down. Oh, hold on. Move
it's
the
Penn
banner.
State. It's Penn State.
It's Penn State.
Yeah,
it's
I
Penn
can't
State.
see it.
Penn State.
I don't see it.
God.
Yeah, it's right below the lower third.
Not that.
You see it?
There we go.
Oh,
The Penn State. Sorry for the bad picture. Under crunch
Let's
time.
go.
No pun intended. Boone, congratulations. You have won Crunch Time Trivia, College
Jeff,
Football
LeBron.
Edition. The trivia series is now tied 2-2. We will be back next week.
Dude, you know what's so messed up? That's the one I scratched off,
Yeah,
bro. If I left it in, I would have won, dude.
I'm trying to find Michigan right now.
Oh, that's funny.
Because then
man.
the other one, if I would have scratched it off, I would have had Ole Miss as the last one. Then we would have said who was higher. That was,
That was fun, dude. That was a fun
That was
one.
fun. That was fun. Devontae Adams, man. That was the moment I'll remember for trying to be the smartest.
Yeah, Ryan Anton said, "Where's Michigan? Where's Michigan at in this?"
I'm trying to find it.
They might be a little lower. I'm
Was there
shocked
a
Ole
game where
Miss
they
is.
just got fucking smoked.
I don't know. I mean, they just consistently were losing games. So I mean, when you're losing games, that's why I thought Ole Miss wasn't on there. I just thought like Ole Miss was always in these like games and they were losing. I thought maybe they were giving like 20, 30
They
points.
beat teams like
Michigan,
63-0
okay, so-
and shit.
Which that changes it.
Michigan was 19.9. Penn
Okay.
State was 16.5. They were in
not
between
far off.
Nebraska and Illinois defense wise.
Damn.
Okay.
Man.
Indiana, shout out
Hey.
Indiana, man. I thought
Yeah,
Penn State was
Indiana
top 5. They're right there on the edge, though. I guess.
Yeah,
You know what's funny? I thought about Indiana too. There was a couple I was debating on. It was
How about
post game
it's-
press conference. I thought, you know what? I hung in there. I battled.
By the way, Phil said I'm embarrassed to be Italian. I'm Italian. I mean, Jeff claims to be the Italian on the show. I'm the Italian one. Sit down over there, big fella.
Any
2-2.
words, Hefe? I know that tattoo makes it personal.
No, I'm just that Devontae Adams question. Me trying to be the smartest man is gonna haunt me forever, bro. Like
That's the exact same philosophy, or I should say energy, as taking Shadur Sanders 3rd overall.
I just tried to be the smartest man, dude. But you know
Hey, the
what?
moment-
We're gonna come back next week smarter and more prepared. So
Hey, the moment when we were doing the top 5 teams, and I'm like, Jeff, let's just come together here. Who do they play in the national championship game? Like I drew such a blank. It was like a lot of pressure. I felt like I was under a lot of pressure. I drew a blank. I couldn't remember.
I
anyone.
looked, and what'd you say? You're like,
playoff.
let's talk. I'm like, Boone, I could easily scratch off the one that'll lose, and I scratched off the one that'll lose. I scratched off Penn State. Dude.
Yeah.
So it was just it was a good battle, man. You know, it came down to
Yeah.
just plays, and I didn't make the 2 plays I needed to make. So
It was a fun one. That was fun.
yeah, no, it was good. Good shit, Klotzy. That was a good one.
Come on now.
Really
We'll be
good
back
one.
next Tuesday.
That was a good one. Battled, and Boone just came out on top. He's a smarter player today.
Had a good game plan going in.
I can't
Yeah.
wait till we could do that in a fucking studio.
That was
Get like
Be
a
fun.
buzzer.
no. Me and Boone are like equally knocked. It's a good matchup. We're not like we're just kind of swinging, and it's fun. So it's a really good. This is a fun segment, and we appreciate you all, man. Like the stream, continue to support. Like we said, we got big things coming up, man. Partnerships, and of course, we just hit 13.1 thousand. So it is big time. We just crossed the mark probably 10 minutes ago. So appreciate all you in the comments, and tune in tomorrow for the doc.
Be there. Draft night. Go to DraftKings, baby. Come on.
DraftKings Sports and Social in Troy. We'll be there, man. 7:00. But until then,
Saturday 6 p.m. watch party.
Oh yeah, that's
I forgot about that, Boone.
Good plug. Yep, Saturday. We'll be live for the Pistons game, so tune into that. But until then, appreciate you all. Peace.
Love you guys.